The doorbell chimed twice, sharp, quick, familiar. Kate Carter froze on the couch, wrapped in 2 blankets and an old wool coat. For a moment, she considered pretending she hadn't heard it. Moving meant leaving the tiny pocket of warmth she'd created in her drafty living room. But that double ring, only one person used it. Laura. With stiff fingers, Kate pushed herself up and shuffled toward the door. When she opened it, the weak afternoon light spilled across the porch and across her daughter, standing there with 2 bulging grocery bags and a look that turned from surprise to alarm in seconds. "Mom, what happened?" Laura whispered. Not a question, a verdict. Kate didn't answer. She stepped aside. Laura walked in, her eyes landing on the thermostat first. 56 degrees F. Then the kitchen. Then the refrigerator. The silence that followed was so sharp Kate felt it in her chest. Laura reappeared holding a lone bottle of expired milk. "Where is your food?" I have crackers, some rice." Kate's voice was barely there. Laura didn't argue. She simply pulled out her phone and dialed. Jason answered on the second ring. "Hey, sis. What's wrong?" Laura snapped. "What's wrong is that Mom is freezing in her own house with no groceries and no heat, while her monthly pension is $8,000. Explain now." A pause, a sigh. "Brittany handles Mom's finances now," Jason said. "She's better at managing bills. Mom gets confused. Laura's voice dropped to a dangerous calm. "Mom worked payroll and bookkeeping for 3 decades. Stop lying." Before Jason could reply, heels tapped sharply across the floor. Brittany Carter appeared in the doorway, arms folded, lips curled in that sugary smile Kate had learned to dread. "Oh dear," Brittany said. "There seems to be some confusion. I simply ensure Kate doesn't waste her pension. And honestly, allowing her to live here rent-free is generous. Caregiving is expensive." Kate felt Laura go still beside her. Too still. Laura slowly set down the milk bottle. "Mom, get your coat." Brittany stepped forward. "She's not going anywhere." Laura didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. "Is that what we're calling it now? Stealing her money while she shivers in the dark?" The smile finally cracked. Brittany's eyes flashed. Jason appeared behind her, looking uncomfortable. "Maybe everyone should calm." "No," Laura said. "Mom is coming with me, right now." Kate hesitated just long enough for Brittany to smirk. And then Laura leaned in close and whispered, low enough only Kate could hear, "Mom, whatever happens next, don't tell anyone. Not for 3 months. I need you to trust me." Kate nodded, though she didn't understand. She could feel it. Something had shifted. And Brittany had no idea what was coming. But the moment Laura drove Kate to the hospital, everything Brittany had been hiding finally began to unravel. The ride to St. Augustine Medical Center was silent except for the hum of the heater, blowing stronger than Kate Carter had felt in months. She kept her hands near the vents, letting the warmth soak into skin that had forgotten comfort. Laura pulled into the emergency entrance and shut off the engine. "Mom," she said softly, "when was the last time you had a proper meal?" Kate opened her mouth, but the truth caught in her throat like a stone. She couldn't remember. Days had blurred into one long cycle of crackers, rice, and the ache of hunger she had tried to ignore. "I eat enough," she whispered. "Mom," Laura's voice cracked, but she steadied herself. "We're going inside." Inside, Laura told the intake nurse that Kate was dizzy, fatigued, and losing weight. Not a lie, just the smallest slice of reality. They were taken back faster than Kate expected. A nurse helped her onto the exam bed, checking vitals, while Dr. Turner, a young man with serious eyes, clipped a pen to his chart. "When did the weight loss start?" he asked. Kate hesitated, but Laura stepped in. "She lives alone. My sister-in-law handles her finances. Mom hasn't been eating properly for months." Dr. Turner studied Kate again, really studied her. The fragile wrists, the sunken cheeks, the trembling hands. "We'll run labs," he said, writing quickly. "Blood work, vitamin panels, hydration levels, and I want her weighed." The nurse guided Kate to the scale. Laura stared at the display. 104 pounds. Kate had once been 136. Laura's eyes glossed with fury she didn't express out loud. Back in the exam room, another woman entered, soft voice, calm posture, gray cardigan that made her look more like a teacher than a social worker. "I'm Patricia Gray," she said. "Your daughter shared concerns about your home situation. If you're willing, I'd like to talk." For weeks, Kate had swallowed everything: fear, shame, hunger. But the gentleness in Patricia's eyes cracked something inside her. The words spilled out. The empty fridge, the cold house, the pension she never saw. Brittany's tight smile every time Kate asked why the money wasn't enough. When Dr. Turner returned with results, his expression was grim. "Kate, you're severely malnourished. Your vitamin D is almost gone. B12 dangerously low. You've lost nearly 32 pounds in half a year. Your body is in starvation mode." Patricia looked up sharply. "This supports a possible case of elder financial abuse." Laura pulled out her phone, photographing every screen, every note, every number. Her jaw was set with precision that felt like steel. Dr. Turner handed over copies of all test results. "She needs nourishment, warmth, and monitoring immediately." Kate sat there, overwhelmed, until Laura gently touched her shoulder. "Mom, this is only step one." Because the next step would shatter Brittany's illusion of control and expose a secret she thought no one would ever discover. Laura didn't take Kate home. Not to that house. Not to that cold, silent place Brittany had turned into a prison. Instead, she drove across town to a quiet brick building with green awnings and a discreet gold plaque. "Caldwell and Associates, elder law and estate protection." Inside, the air was warm. the leather chairs comfortable, the receptionist polite. But none of that mattered compared to the man who stepped out to greet them. Tall, composed, sharp-eyed, Robert Caldwell carried himself like someone who had seen every kind of manipulation imaginable and dismantled it piece by piece. "Mrs. Carter," he said, shaking Kate's hand gently, "your daughter briefed me. Before we take any legal action, I need one crucial thing: proof of your cognitive soundness." Kate tensed. "You think I'm losing my mind?" "No," he said simply, "but your daughter-in-law will claim you are. We're eliminating that excuse before it starts." The cognitive exam took nearly 3 hours. Memory recall, pattern recognition, multi-step instructions, logic tests. Kate's hands shook at times, but her mind remained steady. She answered, calculated, and reasoned with the same sharpness she'd once used balancing payroll books. When Robert reviewed the results, he finally allowed himself the smallest smile. "Mrs. Carter, your cognitive function is excellent. You are fully competent to make every financial and legal decision in this process." Laura exhaled as if she'd been holding her breath for months. "Good," she said. "Now we show Brittany what a real legal authority looks like." Robert spread the bank statements across his conference table. Lines of withdrawals, transfers, purchases, each one highlighted in red. "She's been siphoning your pension for at least 2 years," he said. "Luxury handbags, vacations, salon memberships, private events, all funded using your income." Kate stared, numb, as the numbers blurred together. $200,000 gone, her hard-earned pension, her security, the life she and her late husband had saved for. "Brittany will claim caregiving costs," Robert said, "except she has 0 documentation. And the photos Laura took today, plus the medical report, prove neglect, not care." Patricia Gray, who had accompanied them at Laura's request, added, "This meets the legal threshold for elder abuse and financial exploitation. If you want to pursue criminal charges, you can." Kate didn't speak. She couldn't. Her voice trembled too much. So Laura spoke for her. "We're pressing charges, but we're doing it the right way. Quiet, strategic, and timed perfectly." Robert nodded. "Then we begin by locking everything Brittany thinks she controls." He drafted an irrevocable trust, a new will, emergency financial protections, new banking structures, all under Kate's full authority and Laura's management. Kate signed page after page. Each stroke of the pen was a reclaiming of power she didn't know she still had. When they left the office, Kate felt lighter, but also terrified, because once Brittany realized what had happened, she would come for her. But Brittany wasn't the only threat. Laura was about to uncover a secret buried deep in Kate's home computer, one that proved Brittany's intentions were darker than anyone imagined. Laura didn't bring Kate back to her old house. Not until Kate was stronger. Not until the legal groundwork was airtight. Instead, she settled her mother into the warm guest room of her apartment, a quiet space with soft bedding, bright curtains, and a kitchen that actually contained real food. That first night, Kate sat at the dinner table staring at a bowl of chicken soup as if it were something foreign. Her hands trembled around the spoon. "Mom," Laura said gently, "eat. You're safe." Safe? Kate had forgotten what that word felt like. She barely made it halfway through the bowl before her stomach cramped. Months of deprivation had shrunk her appetite. Laura didn't pressure her. She just watched, her sharp eyes recording everything, calculating, planning. After dinner, Laura disappeared into her office and came out holding Kate's old laptop. "Mom, I need to check something." Kate frowned. "Why my computer?" "Because Brittany used yours for everything," Laura said. "And she's not nearly as clever as she thinks." Laura opened the browser history. Kate expected to see shopping websites, maybe bills, maybe emails. She did not expect to see the first search: average life expectancy for a 72-year-old woman. Then, can an elderly person be declared incompetent without their consent? Signs of end-of-life decline. How long after death does inheritance get released? How to become power of attorney for a senior. Kate covered her mouth with her hands. Laura kept scrolling. More searches. Ways to reduce elderly spending. Symptoms of vitamin deficiency in seniors. How long until fatal? How long can an elderly person live on minimal calories? Kate's breath shattered. "That's not all," Laura whispered. She opened a document, a spreadsheet, color-coded, dates, expense forecasts, predictive formulas. At the top, projected inheritance timeline, Kate Carter. The rows listed hypothetical scenarios based on age. Age 72, inheritance. Projected age 74. Reduced amount age 76. Increased risk of medical complications. Age 78. Unlikely to survive. The row for age 72 was highlighted in bright yellow. Kate turned cold, colder than she'd ever been in that freezing house. "She planned it," Laura said. "She planned everything. She was waiting for you to die, and she was making sure you'd get there sooner." Kate shook, her fingers clawing at the edge of the table. "She wanted me gone." "Mom," Laura said firmly, gripping her shoulders, "this ends now, but we do it smart, quiet, and on our terms." Kate nodded, tears burning down her cheeks. Laura closed the laptop and held it like a weapon. "We take this to Robert first thing in the morning." Kate wiped her tears. What if Brittany finds out? Laura's jaw clenched. "She won't. She's too busy watching your pension deposit each month. She has no idea we've already pulled the plug." But the next morning, when Robert Caldwell reviewed the spreadsheet, he found something hidden inside it, something far worse than either of them expected. Robert Caldwell scanned the spreadsheet with a stillness that made Kate's stomach twist. His eyes moved from cell to cell, formulas expanding across the screen like a map of corruption. Laura stood behind him with her arms folded, fury simmering beneath her calm exterior. "This isn't just record keeping," Robert finally said. "This is deliberate planning. Long-term, structured, calculated planning." Kate swallowed hard. "Calculated for what?" "For your death," Robert said bluntly, "and the financial gain following it." He clicked open a hidden tab, one Laura hadn't noticed. Rows of payments appeared, not to Kate, not to bills, to Brittany. Coaching services, advisory fees, caregiving reimbursements, all fake, all self-assigned. One entry stood out. Projected payout from life insurance policy, $500,000. Kate blinked. Life insurance. "I don't have a life insurance policy." "You do," Robert said. "Except the signature on this document," he zoomed in, "is forged." A cold wave passed through Kate. Her hands trembled so badly Laura steadied them. "I never signed anything like that," Kate whispered. "Brittany did," Robert said, 3 years ago. "She created this policy, forged your signature, and listed herself as the beneficiary." He leaned back, jaw tight. "This is no longer just financial abuse. This crosses into insurance fraud, forgery, and depending on motive, potential homicide intent." Kate gasped. Laura's face drained of color. "Homicide," Kate whispered. "Mrs. Carter," Robert said carefully, "when someone forges a life insurance policy on an elderly person they financially control, and simultaneously restricts food, heat, and medical access." His voice hardened. "Courts take that very seriously." Kate pressed a hand to her chest, trying to breathe through the tightness. Laura sat beside her. "Mom, she wanted you gone. That's why she starved you. That's why she blocked your medical appointments. Everything lines up." Robert closed the file. "We move fast now. I'll file emergency legal protections. I'll notify law enforcement and the insurance fraud division. But we do not warn Jason or Brittany." "Not yet." Kate's voice broke. "What about Jason? He believed her." Robert didn't sugarcoat it. "He enabled her. That will have legal consequences for him too." Laura tightened her grip on Kate's hand. "Mom, I know this hurts, but we're doing this to protect you and to stop Brittany before she hurts anyone else." Robert printed forms. "This is the beginning of the legal strike," he said. "Once these are filed, Brittany loses access to everything she thinks she controls." Kate nodded through tears. "Do it." As Robert gathered the documents, Laura checked her phone and stiffened. "What's wrong?" Kate asked. Laura turned the screen toward them. A notification from the bank. "Attempted access to suspended account. User, Brittany Carter." Kate's blood ran cold. She knew. She knew something was wrong. But what Brittany did next would push everything into open war and force Kate to confront the one person she dreaded most, her own son. The moment the notification hit Laura's phone, the atmosphere in Robert Caldwell's office shifted. A slow, dangerous shift. "She's trying to get in," Laura whispered. She noticed the pension didn't land. Robert nodded grimly. That means we have hours, maybe less, before she shows up somewhere she shouldn't. Kate felt her pulse hammer against her ribs. She'll come to your house, Laura. She'll come looking for me. No, Laura said. She'll go to Jason first. And Laura was right. Because back at Brittany and Jason's home, a storm was already brewing. Number. At 3:12 p.m., Brittany paced their living room with her phone pressed to her ear. What do you mean the account is locked? She snapped into the receiver. I have full management rights. On the other end, the bank representative calmly repeated, we can only speak with the account holder, Kate Carter. Brittany's jaw clenched, so tight it trembled. She hung up and immediately turned to Jason. They moved her money. Your sister did this. Jason rubbed his temples. Laura wouldn't do something illegal. Illegal. Brittany barked out a bitter laugh. She kidnapped your mother and stole her income. Jason hesitated just long enough for Brittany's suspicion to ignite into rage. You're not defending her, are you? I'm just saying Laura wouldn't. That's because she manipulated your mother. Jason, wake up. Laura has always hated me. Jason's silence was answer enough, and Brittany erupted. Within minutes, she had her coat on and keys in hand. We're going to Laura's, she said. Right now. Jason looked uncertain, but followed her anyway. Number back at Laura's home. Kate sat on the living room sofa, knees pulled close, fear clawing inside her chest. Laura, he's my son, she whispered. What if he believes her? Laura knelt in front of her. Mom, listen to me. Jason made a choice for 2 years. He saw what was happening. He looked away. Kate lowered her gaze. I don't want to lose him. Laura held her hand. You already did. He just hasn't realized it. Robert stepped into the room, holding a stack of freshly notarized papers. I just filed the emergency protections, he said. By law, Brittany now has 0 authority over you. 0. The moment she tries anything, she incriminates herself. Kate nodded, though her stomach churned. A sudden buzzing filled the room, Laura's security cameras detecting motion on the driveway. Laura grabbed her phone, checked the screen, and her expression hardened into stone. They're here. Kate felt breathless. Jason and Brittany. They stood at the front door, pounding, shouting, trying the handle. Laura stayed rooted, calm, cold. Don't open it, Robert said. Let them show exactly who they are. Kate trembled. But Jason, he'll think I'm hiding. Laura stepped closer, her voice crisp. Mom, you're not hiding. She pointed at the door where Brittany was screaming threats. They are. Laura pressed the intercom. Leave, now. Brittany's voice cut through like a knife. Kate, open this door. I'm getting the police. You're not mentally stable, and I have proof. Kate's heart stopped. Robert exchanged a knowing look with Laura. She's trying the incompetency angle, he said. Just like we predicted. But what Brittany didn't know was that Kate already had a weapon she could use to destroy that lie, and it would end the moment she opened her mouth. Brittany's fists hammered against Laura's front door so violently that Kate could feel the vibrations through the floor. Jason stood behind her, arms crossed, jaw tight, avoiding the camera like a guilty child. Laura didn't flinch. Robert didn't move. But Kate felt her hands shaking so badly she tucked them under her thighs. Kate, Brittany's voice shrilled through the intercom. You open this door right now. You are not capable of making decisions. I am legally responsible for you. Laura leaned in toward the speaker, her tone razor sharp. You have zero authority. Legally, financially, medically. We removed every access point you had. A beat of silence. Then an explosion. You think you can take my money? Brittany screamed. You think you can just walk away from our arrangement? I've put time and energy into managing your mother. Robert muttered under his breath. She really said my money. Interesting. Jason finally stepped forward, raising his voice. Mom, I don't know what Laura told you, but Brittany didn't do anything wrong. Kate's heart wrenched at the sound of his voice, so familiar, yet so distant. Laura hit the intercom again. Jason, if you have something to say it without hiding behind her. Jason hesitated, then leaned toward the camera slightly. I just want to talk to Mom. Alone. She's confused, and you're making decisions for her. Robert chuckled once, cold, humorless. And there it is. Kate's spine stiffened. Incompetent, confused, unfit. The words Brittany had been crafting for 2 years. Kate suddenly stood from the couch. Mom, Laura straightened. You don't need to go near that door. Kate shook her head. No, I need to speak. Laura looked alarmed, but Robert lifted a hand. Let her, he whispered. This is an opportunity. Kate stepped to the intercom, pressing the button with surprisingly steady fingers. Her voice came out calm but steely. Jason, he froze. You think I'm confused? You think I don't understand what happened? Jason swallowed. Mom, Brittany said. Kate cut him off. Something she'd never done before. No, you listen to me. Even Brittany stopped shouting. Kate continued, voice tightening with every word. I know exactly what you allowed. I know about the cold house, the empty fridge, the pension you let her swallow, the way you looked away every time I dropped more weight. Jason's eyes widened. I didn't know how bad it was. You knew. Kate's voice cracked, the years of silence tearing apart. You saw everything, and you stood there next to her while she took control of my life. Jason stepped back, stunned, but Kate wasn't finished. And Brittany, she said, venom dripping now. That little story you're spinning about me being incompetent. You should have checked your facts before you committed fraud. Brittany's expression flickered fear slipping through the cracks. Kate looked straight at the camera, eyes burning. I passed a full cognitive assessment, with results documented by a state-certified specialist. I am medically and legally competent. Laura smiled slowly. Robert folded his arms. Outside, Brittany went pale. Jason's mouth fell open. Kate delivered the blow that shattered everything. And I will never again allow either of you to speak for me. But Kate had barely finished speaking when Brittany made a move so desperate, so reckless, that it pushed the entire situation from confrontation straight into criminal territory. For a moment, everything outside the door went still. No pounding, no screaming, just silence heavy enough to press against the walls. Then Brittany snapped. "I'm coming in," she shrieked, grabbing the door handle and yanking it so violently the entire frame rattled. Laura stepped back. "She's losing it." Robert moved closer to the door, not to open it, but to observe. Let her show her intent. Keep recording. The camera above the door caught everything clearly. Brittany shoved her body against the door, shoulder first, like she thought she could break it down by force. Jason grabbed her arm. "Britt, stop. You're making this worse." She jerked away from him. "Shut up. Your mother is manipulating everyone. I'm the only one who knows what she needs." Kate felt sick hearing that. Delusion wrapped in entitlement. Brittany's rage escalated. She dug through her purse, yanking out a set of keys, Kate's old house keys, and furiously jammed them at the lock. Laura stiffened. She really thinks she can break into my home with Mom's old keys. Robert didn't blink. This is attempted forced entry. Exactly what the judge will want to see. And then Brittany made the mistake that sealed her fate. She turned to Jason and hissed, thinking the camera wouldn't pick it up. "If she doesn't cooperate, we'll just say she's mentally unstable. I already have the doctor's number ready. One call, and she's declared unfit." Kate's knees nearly gave out. Laura's jaw dropped. She was planning a psychiatric hold on Mom. "Oh, worse," Robert said. "That's a tactic abusers use to silence elderly victims. It's criminal coercion." Jason looked horrified. "Brittany, what are you talking about? We can't do that." Brittany spun on him. "We don't have time, Jason. Once she moves everything out of our reach, we get nothing. Don't you understand?" "Nothing." Jason's face twisted, not in anger, but in realization. For the first time, he saw the truth. "You were waiting for her to die," he whispered. "Weren't you?" Brittany froze. Then she laughed short, sharp, unhinged. "Of course not. Don't be dramatic." But she didn't deny it. Before Jason could react, Brittany lunged at the door again, full weight slamming into it. This time, Laura had enough. She pressed the intercom button. Her voice was ice. "Brittany Carter, you have 10 seconds to step off my property." Brittany snarled, "Make me." Robert calmly dialed a number on his phone. "Hello, yes. I need officers dispatched immediately. We have attempted forced entry threats and evidence of financial exploitation." Outside, Brittany froze mid-pound. Jason stepped back, eyes wide. "Brittany, what did you do?" For the first time, Brittany looked uncertain. Laura opened the blinds just slightly, enough for Brittany to see her face. "Run if you want," Laura said coldly. "The cameras caught everything." Brittany's eyes darted between the door, the driveway, and the street. Then she did the one thing Kate never expected. She ran. But Brittany's escape didn't end the danger, because the police found something in her abandoned car that would expose a far darker plan than anyone imagined. Brittany didn't get far. She sprinted down the driveway, nearly slipping on the pavement, and jumped into her car, a silver sedan Kate had unknowingly paid for. The engine roared, tires screeching as she peeled away from the curb. Jason didn't chase her. He just stood in the middle of the street, hands trembling, staring after the woman he defended for 2 years. Minutes later, 2 patrol cars arrived. Laura opened the door only after confirming their badges on the camera feed. Kate stayed behind her, shaken but steady. Officer Reyes spoke first. We received a report of attempted forced entry and elder abuse concerns. Robert stepped forward like he'd been waiting his entire career for this exact moment. We have full video footage, audio, legal documents, a medical report, and evidence of attempted coercion, he said. And that's before you search her property. The officers exchanged glances, serious ones. This wasn't a simple domestic dispute. This was layered, documented, and dangerous. Where is Brittany Carter now? Officer Reyes asked. Running, Laura said flatly. They radioed the license plate. It didn't take long. Her vehicle has been located, one officer said, hand pressed to his earpiece. Abandoned behind a pharmacy 2 blocks away. Kate's breath hitched. She ran on foot. No, the officer replied. The door was left open, the engine off, keys on the ground. Robert's eyes narrowed. That means she panicked. She left in a hurry. The officers left to search the vehicle, while one remained with Laura and Kate. 10 minutes passed. 15. Then a call came through. We found something in the car. You need to come see this. Number 80. The parking lot. Kate walked between Laura and Robert toward Brittany's abandoned sedan. Police tape already surrounded it. Officer Reyes lifted a small evidence bag from the front seat. Inside, a thick manila folder stuffed with printed documents. He held it up carefully. This was in the passenger seat. Robert took it, opened it, and froze. Inside were notes, handwritten by Brittany in neat, obsessive lines. Projected timeline if Kate refuses food. How to adjust calorie intake unnoticed. Signs of decline to report to doctor to push incompetency claim. Methods to convince family of cognitive issues. Insurance payout plan. A chilling page sat on top. If Kate collapses, call emergency after 5 minutes. Say she refused medication. Don't mention malnutrition. Avoid hospital unless unavoidable. Kate felt the world tilt beneath her. Robert exhaled slowly. This isn't financial exploitation anymore. This is premeditated harm. Laura's hands shook with pure, controlled fury. She was ready to let Mom die. Officer Reyes nodded, grim. We'll be issuing a warrant immediately. But that wasn't the worst part, because at the bottom of the folder was a printed email draft Brittany had prepared but never sent. To Dr. Turner, subject, mental decline in Kate Carter. The email accused Kate of hallucinations, memory loss, erratic behavior, and aggression. All lies, all designed to have Kate legally removed from her own life. Kate's voice broke. She was going to have me committed. No, Robert said. She was going to erase you. But Brittany wasn't finished running, because by the next morning, she was found somewhere no one expected. And what she claimed when arrested threw Jason into a spiral that forced Kate to make her harshest decision yet. Brittany wasn't found at home. She wasn't hiding at a friend's place. She didn't show up at work. Instead, at 7:14 the next morning, Officer Reyes called Laura with a simple, chilling sentence. We located Brittany Carter behind the old train station. Laura went rigid. Kate felt her stomach drop. She was crying, hysterical, the officer continued, claiming she's the victim. Of course she was. Robert joined them at the station within 20 minutes. Kate stayed quiet most of the ride, hands clenched, heart pounding. She didn't want to see Brittany again. She didn't want to hear excuses, but she needed to be present. This was about closure. When they reached the station, Brittany sat in an interview room, hair messy, mascara streaked, eyes swollen. Her entire arrogance had melted away, replaced by frantic desperation. Jason was already there, and he looked broken, not angry, not defensive, just shattered. He stood when he saw Kate, but she didn't move toward him. She stayed beside Laura, posture straight. The officer gestured for them to wait outside the glass window while they listened. Inside, Brittany spoke rapidly, words tumbling over each other. I'm the one being abused. Laura is manipulating Kate. She's controlling everything. I was protecting her. I was handling her money because she's not mentally stable. Robert whispered. There it is, the incompetency lie. Officer Reyes calmly asked, why did you forge a life insurance policy? I didn't, Brittany shouted. She signed it, she just forgot. So she's mentally unstable, the officer clarified. Yet she signed a legal document she doesn't remember, and you collected the payout projections. Brittany froze. Laura whispered, she can't keep up with her lies. The officer continued, why did you have notes about calorie restriction and medical delays? That's, Brittany stuttered. That's just research. Elderly people forget to eat. So you documented how long she could go without food. Brittany's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Jason looked horrified. Brittany, he whispered through the glass, almost to himself. What did you do to my mother? Brittany snapped, losing whatever shaky composure she had left. I did everything. I managed her money. I kept her house running. You think your mother could survive without me? I deserved something back. I earned it. She slammed her fists against the table. Kate felt Laura's hand slip into hers. Robert exhaled slowly. Officer Reyes leaned forward, and the inheritance timeline spreadsheet, waiting for her to die. I wasn't waiting, Brittany screamed. I was preparing. That woman was going to die anyway. Kate's breath caught. Jason covered his face with shaking hands. And that was it. The officers stepped in. The handcuffs clicked. Brittany collapsed into sobs as she was led out. Jason turned to Kate, eyes drowning in regret. Mom, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Kate looked at him, pain twisting deep in her chest. She wished she could believe him, but she remembered every moment he'd ignored, every time he'd looked away, every time he chose Brittany's comfort over his mother's suffering. She met his eyes and whispered, "Not knowing isn't the same as not helping." Jason broke down. But Kate wasn't done, because the courtroom battle that followed would expose secrets even deeper than Brittany's and force Kate to decide whether Jason deserved a place in her life at all. The courtroom was colder than Kate expected, sterile, quiet, humming faintly with whispers from spectators who had followed the case through local news. The judge, a stern woman with silver hair pinned in a tight bun, reviewed documents with unreadable eyes. Laura stood beside Kate. Robert stood on her other side, calm as stone. Jason sat 2 rows behind them, alone, hunched, his hands clasped so tightly his knuckles blanched. Brittany was brought in wearing a county-issued jumpsuit. Her eyes darted around the room, wild, exhausted, terrified. When her gaze landed on Kate, she froze. Kate didn't flinch. The charges read out loud filled the courtroom like a slow, suffocating cloud. Elder financial exploitation, neglect causing medical harm, forgery, insurance fraud, attempted coercion of incompetency declaration, intent to defraud using life insurance. At some points, Brittany looked ready to argue. At others, her shoulders collapsed. When the prosecutor began laying out the timeline of events, the room shifted. The photos of Kate at 104 pounds, the home thermometer reading 56 degrees F, the medical report Dr. Turner had written, Patricia Gray's documentation, the bank statements, the forged policy, the handwritten inheritance timeline, the email drafts accusing Kate of imaginary mental decline, the footage of Brittany trying to break into Laura's home. Piece by piece, Brittany's facade fell apart. Then came the moment no one expected. The prosecutor called Jason Carter to the stand. Kate stiffened. Laura's jaw clenched. Jason walked up slowly, looking like a man about to confess a lifetime of mistakes. He took an oath, sat down, and stared at the table for several seconds before speaking. I didn't hurt my mother physically, he said softly, but I allowed it to happen. The entire courtroom went silent. Jason continued, voice cracking. I believed Brittany. Every time Mom lost weight, every time she wore more layers, every time she said she was tired, Brittany had an explanation, and I accepted it because it was easier. Kate closed her eyes, pain stinging behind them. I saw the empty fridge, Jason said, choking on the words. I saw how cold the house was. Deep down, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't want to confront the truth. I didn't want to believe the woman I loved was capable of hurting the woman who raised me. He wiped his eyes. That doesn't excuse me. Nothing excuses me. The prosecutor asked, Did Brittany ever tell you why she limited Kate's food? Jason swallowed hard. She said Mom ate too much. That keeping her portions small was for her health. The courtroom murmured. Kate felt a crack form inside her, not forgiveness, but recognition of the truth. The prosecutor pressed. Did you know about the life insurance policy? No. Jason shook his head violently. But I should have questioned things. I should have checked. I should have protected my mother. He lowered his gaze, broken. I failed her, Robert whispered to Kate. This helps the case. Kate didn't answer. Her heart ached too deeply. After Jason stepped down, the judge dismissed the court for the day. As people stood to leave, Jason approached Kate slowly. Mom, he whispered, can we talk? Kate lifted her chin, not cruelly, not coldly, but with the quiet strength she had fought for. Not today, Jason, she said. Not while the wounds are still bleeding. Jason nodded, tears sliding down his face. I understand. But the final verdict would bring a twist no one expected, and force Kate to make the hardest choice a mother can make, whether blood is enough to earn forgiveness. The courtroom filled again the next morning, packed tighter than before. Reporters lingered near the back, typing rapidly, waiting for the verdict in what had quickly become the county's most disturbing elder exploitation case in years. Kate sat with her hands folded in her lap, breathing slowly, staring straight ahead. Laura sat beside her, steady, ready, unshakable. Robert stood behind them, reviewing notes one last time. Across the aisle, Brittany was escorted in, wrists in cuffs, eyes hollow. She stared at Kate with something twisted, anger, fear, disbelief, all tangled together. Jason arrived quietly, slipping into the back row, head bowed. The judge entered. The room rose. Everyone sat. Then the judge began reading. Number the verdict. On the charge of elder financial exploitation, guilty. Brittany flinched. On the charge of neglect, resulting in medical harm, guilty. Her shoulders hunched lower. On the charge of forgery of financial documents, guilty. A strangled noise escaped her throat. On the charge of insurance fraud, guilty. Jason closed his eyes. And on the charge of attempted coercion of legal incompetency for personal gain, guilty. A buzz of whispers rippled through the room. The judge continued, voice unwavering. The evidence shows sustained, deliberate harm carried out over a significant period. This court will not tolerate the manipulation and endangerment of vulnerable seniors. Kate felt her chest tighten, not with fear, but with something like release. Then came the sentencing. For your actions, Brittany Carter, you are sentenced to 4 years in state prison and required to pay $500,000 in restitution to Kate Carter. Brittany gasped loud, broken. No, no, this is insane. She's lying. She's manipulating all of you. She thrashed against the officer's grip. Jason, say something. Jason didn't move, didn't speak, didn't even look up. The judge rapped her gavel. Enough. Brittany was dragged out, screaming Kate's name like a curse. And just like that, the courtroom drained of sound. Number after the verdict outside. The cold air hit Kate like a slap. Reporters called her name. Microphones shoved forward, but Robert guided her past them. Laura wrapped an arm around Kate's shoulders. It's over, Mom. No, Kate said quietly. It's not. Jason stood a few feet away, hands shoved in his pockets, trembling. He looked like a man who'd lost everything: his wife, his security, his illusions. Mom, he whispered, please talk to me. Kate stepped toward him slowly. You saw me fading, she said softly, and you looked away. I know, Jason's voice cracked. I was blind. I was weak. And I don't deserve forgiveness, but I'm begging for a chance. Laura tensed, ready to step in. But Kate raised a hand. Jason, she said, I don't hate you, but I don't trust you. Jason nodded, tears falling freely. I'll earn it back, even if it takes years. Kate hesitated, then placed a hand briefly on his arm. That's up to you, she said. But for now, give me time and space. Jason swallowed hard. Anything. I'll wait. He stepped back, understanding for the first time that forgiveness wouldn't be handed to him like a gift. He'd have to work for it. But Kate's journey wasn't over, because what happened weeks later would transform her pain into a mission that touched thousands and force her to choose what legacy she wanted to leave behind. Life after the trial didn't return to normal because normal no longer existed for Kate Carter. She didn't go back to her old house. She didn't return to the silent rooms or the cold walls that had nearly swallowed her whole. Instead, Laura helped her move into a warm, sunlight-filled home on the east side of town, a place that actually felt like living, not surviving. The first week there, Kate gained 2 more pounds. The second week, she started sleeping through the night again. The third week, she found herself humming while watering plants. Small victories, hard-earned ones. Robert finalized her new estate plan, placing all her assets in a secure trust with Laura as trustee. Brittany's restitution payments were locked in by the court, garnished wages for the rest of her life. Jason sent letters, long letters, letters filled with guilt, regret, shame, hope. Kate read every one. She responded to none. Not yet. Number the speech 3 months later. An invitation arrived from the Elder Abuse Awareness Foundation. They wanted Kate to speak at their annual gala. Laura assumed she'd decline, but Kate didn't. I want to help someone else, she said. someone who doesn't have a Laura. The night of the event, she stood on a stage beneath crystal chandeliers, facing a room filled with 300 people, social workers, doctors, lawyers, caregivers, seniors. Monica Hale, the local reporter who had followed the trial, sat in the front row with a notepad. Kate's voice trembled at first. I never thought I'd be the woman who was starving in her own home. Silence fell, but I was. She told them about the cold house, the empty fridge, the weight she didn't realize she was losing, the humiliation she buried, the shame she carried for things she didn't cause. And then she pointed to Laura, seated at a table near the stage. My daughter saved my life, not with anger, though she had every right to be angry. She saved me with proof, action, persistence. She refused to look away. People wiped tears. Others recorded on their phones. Not everyone has a Laura, Kate continued. So we have to become one. Check on your neighbors. Ask questions. If something feels wrong, investigate. The smallest intervention can save a life. When she finished, the room erupted into a standing ovation. Monica Hale's segment about Kate went viral by morning. Emails poured in hundreds from seniors thanking her, from families learning the warning signs, from adults who caught abuse early enough to stop it. Kate answered each one slowly, carefully, sincerely. Her pain had become purpose. Number A final visit one afternoon, weeks after the gala. Kate found Jason sitting on her porch steps, holding a letter. He stood when he saw her, eyes red. I know you said you needed space, but I wrote something. And if you never want me in your life again after this, I'll accept it. Kate hesitated, then sat beside him. Jason handed her the letter with shaking hands. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking for a chance to rebuild something I destroyed. Kate read the letter slowly. It wasn't excuses. It wasn't begging. It was accountability. For the first time, she felt something shift, not forgiveness, but the possibility of it. She folded the letter and looked at her son. I don't know if things will ever be the same, she said, but I'm willing to try, one step at a time. Jason nodded, crying quietly. That's all I hoped for. Kate placed her hand on his. A beginning, not a perfect one, but a real one. Number, the true revenge. Kate never saw Brittany again, except in quarterly restitution updates. Brittany's life shrank down to minimum wage jobs and debt she would never escape. But that wasn't the victory. Kate's victory was waking up warm, laughing again, helping others, teaching people how to protect themselves, learning that she was more resilient than she ever knew. Her greatest revenge wasn't Brittany's downfall. Her greatest revenge was surviving and then lighting a path for others to escape the darkness too. The end